Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and break down how certain protagonists literally hack their own fictional universes to achieve absolute god-tier power. If you've ever wondered what happens when a character treats their reality's magic system less like a sacred ancient art and way more like a glitchy video game that desperately needs a patch update, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're not talking about training montages, destiny, or the power of friendship. No way. We're talking about manipulating the base code of these worlds to create unstoppable broken monsters.
Here's our skill tree for today. We're starting with the ultimate ocular exploit, then looking at bypassing the death penalty, stealing the strongest bloodlines, stacking for Super Kage power, and finally, literal system interventions.
Section 1. The Ultimate Ocular Exploit. Reality-Bending Genjutsu. Imagine waking up one day and discovering your own eye contains a literal cheat code. Well, that's exactly what happens to Uchiha Fugaku when he discovers a rare ability that completely shatters the boundary between the mind and the physical world.
Think about the stark contrast between these two visual techniques. Now, you all know Itachi's canonical jutsu, Tsukuyomi. It inflicts immense mental trauma by manipulating space, time, and mass inside the victim's mind. It's utterly terrifying, right? But at the end of the day, it's strictly mental. Fugaku's true illusion, though, it completely shatters that limitation. It allows him to reflect damage dealt inside the illusion directly onto real-world physical bodies. If he cuts you in the dream, your actual body bleeds in reality. But here's where the exploit really goes off the rails. The logic-defying rules of this pocket dimension, they apply to the caster as well. When you look at these reality-bending buffs, you realize he's effectively turning on God mode just by casting the illusion on himself. Infinite chakra, that means limitless jutsu spam without ever breaking a sweat. Infinite resurrection means absolute zero consequences for fatal mistakes. Throw in teleportation, casting ninjutsu without hand seals, and manually dragging his physical body limits way up, and you've got a completely broken character build. It's basically a sandbox mode setting the stage for breaking the universe's most unbreakable rules. Which brings us to Section 2, bypassing the death penalty, hacking the 8th gate. This is where we see exactly how Fugaku takes this newfound God mode and applies it to the absolute most dangerous forbidden technique in existence. The crucial difference here is all about the penalty. The normal 8th gate grants power many times that of a Kage, but it guarantees death as your body physically crumbles to ash. It's meant to be this ultimate heroic sacrifice. But the true illusion 8th gate, it grants that exact same extreme power. But Fugaku uses his infinite resurrections to repeatedly cast Night Guy inside the illusion. He suffers the death penalty over and over, shattering his bones, burning out his life force, but never actually dying in reality. He just hits respawn and does it all over again. By tracking this timeline, you can see how he uses this infinite respawn glitch to speedrun a lifetime of grueling physical training in mere days. Day 1, he unlocks gates 1 through 6. By day 3, he's mastered the 7th gate, throwing air cannons like the Daytime Tiger. And by day 5, he's fully mastered the 8th gate of death. It's the ultimate training macro. It basically lets him AFK farm his way to the absolute peak of taijutsu in less than a single week.
Moving on to Section 3, stealing the strongest bloodlines, the corpse refinement exploit. So we know his right eye completely breaks physical combat, but what about the left? Let's dive into the terrifying potential of corpse refinement, which turns human biology into a literal loot drop system.
If you trace this biological crafting process, it operates exactly like a dark alchemy system. He absorbs recently deceased enemies to extract their raw stats and bloodlines directly into his own DNA. He throws a corpse into a black vortex, dissolves it in a corrosive black liquid, and then pure bioorganic tissue flows out to integrate with his own brain and skeleton. Instantly, he inherits their hard-earned talents and unique Kekkei Genkai. It's wild.
And the results are immediate and staggering. Consuming just one Yamanaka ninja grants him massively enhanced sensory perception. Then, he absorbs a white Zetsu clone. This instantly gives him Hashirama cells, incredible passive healing, and the foundation for wood release. Why does this matter? Well, because this single action permanently cures his Mangekyo blindness. No complex surgeries, no rejection risks, just pure absorbed power ripped straight from a defeated enemy.
Section 4. Stacking for Super Cage power. Farming corpses for stats. Because, really, why stop at one single buff when you can just farm them? This section shows us exactly how Fugaku stat maxes his build like a true power gamer.
Breaking down his newly engineered physiology, he goes on an actual farming run in the land of water. He violently absorbs dozens of duplicates to artificially inflate his chakra and bloodline purity. He takes in over 10 Yuki clan corpses, heavily skewing his base stats to guarantee a devastatingly powerful ice release capable of reaching Kage-level power entirely on its own.
Over 50. He specifically hunts down and refines over 50 Kaguya clan corpses. In a universe where fighting even one of these bone-manipulating warriors is an absolute nightmare, he casually stacks the Shikatsumiyaku buff over and over and over again. By doing this, he alters his entire skeletal structure until his bones are harder than metal and regenerate instantly. He's forcing the bloodline to its absolute theoretical peak through sheer volume.
Just listen to this quote from the source material. With the current level of the Shikatsumiyaku, in terms of bloodline rank, it should be on par with Uchiha Madara's Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, capable of producing Super Kage-level combat power. Now, why does this matter? Because he literally brute forces his way to the top of the power scaling tier list, reaching theoretical 6 paths potential just by grinding duplicate drops. It completely shatters the universe's established rules of hard work, training, and destiny. It is hands down the most ruthless application of min-maxing biology we've ever seen.
Finally, Section 5. Literal System Interventions. Blocking Gene Strikes. Let's step out of the ninja world for a moment and look at our final source, featuring Shino, who uses an actual, literal system interface to hack his reality.
Consider this for a second. How do you block a demon conversion ability that actively rewrites your genetics? Shino is facing Morgana's demon conversion, an attack that forces a permanent biological and cellular rewrite on the victim. So how exactly does a hacker solve an in-universe biological overwrite?
The system's internal logic gives us the answer. It identifies the incoming gene strikes, locates the optimal algorithm, and locks what it calls a temporal anchor point. The system literally throws up a digital firewall to stop a biological hack, all while Shinnok casually eats a lamb skewer and completely ignores the threat.
Breaking this concept down, a temporal anchor point is a saved state in time. If a target's genes are struck or rewritten, the system forcibly reverts them back to this exact anchor temporal state. It acts exactly like save scumming on a video game emulator. If the enemy successfully changes his biological code, the system just shrugs and reloads the pristine backup file. It's wild.
This brilliantly illustrates the ultimate exploit, total immunity through automated temporal reversion. It really doesn't matter how powerful the attack is, or if it was supposed to permanently alter the target's DNA and end the fight. The system simply rejects the edit to the timeline, rendering the protagonist entirely untouchable by the fundamental rules of the universe. He's literally playing a totally different game than everyone else.
So are these protagonists martial arts masters, or just players exploiting a glitchy universe code? What you should take away from this explainer is a massive shift in how we view these stories. When a character stops training their muscles and starts editing their own save files, when exactly does the hero's journey end and the reality hacking begin? It completely rewrites the rules of power progression and leaves us wondering what a fair fight even looks like anymore. Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me. I hope this breakdown was illuminating, and I'll catch you on the next one.